another Mel Brooks movie.
Yeah.
You remember that line? Me, my mole. Me, my mole. Mel Brooks. So that was originally from To Be or Not to Be. The Me, my mole thing. Another one of my favorite Mel. Gosh, I got a line in Mel Brooks movies I could talk about. Ha ha ha, Kelly's pre-gaming with some resin. Because this is the only bed she's got right now to share. So we're waiting on that while I goof off here. Blah, blah, blah. This is going to be some extra video I shall be using. Just got back from playing guitar at my brother's house. 97's my longest, like longest streak. Hitting all the notes correctly, but you have to remember it's a lot of so it's kind of the same, not a lot of, I'd be more impressed if it was this. But and today I sucked at some of the stuff, but I'm starting to get some of it in my head. Like Spirit of the Radio is very, very difficult because it's like on the E string 1, 2, 3, then on the A string 1, 2, 3, Dynamite, and then the D string 1, and then it's like you have to roll through them. And there's another song that's similar to that, Juicebox, on this game, Rocksmith. It's you're rolling through it. I'm not even gonna try it. I'll sound like an idiot. Boom, 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 boom. So you're basically just rolling up and down. So I was really struggling through a lot of that. Don't think I could do it if I was thinking about it. Let's try. And then on the way home, we got to drive our nice slow drive. I love to drive. Screwing it up. See, and then the Spirit of the Radio one is like. Something like that. Oh man, I'm struggling through that. My fingers just don't want to do that. Okay, but I am getting this. I'm not doing it, but that's the right. I'm watching my fingers on the computer. This is now, it's getting weird. It's not just a mirror, it's through a machine, and that is just really strange. Okay, it's enough of that crap. Anyway, so I got to practice all these songs that I'm still learning. Someone thinks they're Speed Racer out there. Go Speed Moron, go Speed Moron, go Speed Moron, go! Okay. Then on the way home, we stopped at a place I have been telling my husband on the Avenue. I love the Avenue. The Avenue is now becoming the most beautiful, wonderful place. When I was going to school on the Avenue, it was a place of homies and gangs and things. And for many years, it was, gay, still is, has gangs. But now it's being gentrified. So it's like, right now it's perfect. If you could freeze the Avenue right now, it's a place where people of low income can live and have wonderful food and art. And I'm just scared that they won't be able to live there very much longer. But if you froze what's going on with the avenue right now, it would be amazing. But unfortunately, that's not what's going to happen. They're going to slam in a whole bunch of housing tracts, probably for wealthy people. Anyway, I consider the avenue to be just such a much more fun place to be, where you really feel like you're in an old part of California, instead of the avenue, which is starting to, everybody's trying to look like Starbucks. Everybody's trying to be so trendy, trying to be Santa Barbara. He's mad at me. And that's not what we're like into, you know. I went someplace comfortable, right? So I'm going to show you the restaurant we stopped at on the way home that I've been dying to go and eat at, and that is Lalo's fast food family restaurant, 1580 North Ventura Avenue, Ventura, California, 93001, right? I'll show you the ad. So we get this nice glossy picture. That's what Tiki wants. He wants to bite this paper so bad, and I won't let him. He just wants to bite this paper so bad. We'll let you in a minute. Let me show the pictures. So check that fucking shit out. You could get a huge fucking, shrimp cocktail for $160. Mexican shrimp cocktail, so you know it's delicious. You know it's delicious. It's got like little chunks of avocado and shit floating in it. I could eat that whole thing all by myself. And then they have these amazing, I wanted to show you this because this is real Mexican food. Not that other shit. This is real Mexican food. Okay, here you can get the meat tray. Oh, come on, focus on the meat tray. Stupid thing. Stupid camera. I'm on camera, we hate your guts. Okay, so I guess I'll back up to here. But here you can see the different meat trays. And they look so good. And does that say... I can't read them. Oh, carne asada, barbacoa. That's the one. Barbacoa. Spicy, sweet pork. Something tropical, yet, I mean, just so... makes the edges of your mouth kind of burn, but not too much, and you just want to keep eating it. We get barbacoa tacos at this one place, and they are fucking amazing. So, barbacoa. Oh, there, it's now polo. That's chicken. Delicious polo. El pastor is a type of beef. Carne asada is a type of beef. You know, it's just how they flavor it, and they're both delicious. Chili Colorado. Fucking carnitas. Oh, I love carnitas. That's pork. Delicious carnitas. Chili verde. That's also pork usually, as far as I know. And then beans and rice. Skip the beans and rice. Just get their food is just so good. Because I had the fish tacos. Let's see if we can find where the fish tacos are. Oh, this is all the fish stuff they had. This is where I got super impressed by this place. Okay. Come on, you. Okay, so their seafood is like this thing called aguachiles, which obviously has like scotch bonnet peppers and avocados, and it's shrimp salad with red, like lime and red onion. Then they also have oysters with like a salsa and limes. And they have a shrimp burrito, fish taco. I had the fish taco. I did not have the battered one. I had grilled. And that's when my husband said, oh, yeah, we're coming back to this restaurant. Because it was as nice as a piece of fish you'd get in a really nice restaurant. I was so impressed with this place. And then look at their shrimp salad. And their Mexican shrimp cocktail, which I love. And I've had it warm. And I prefer shrimp cocktail warm. I've had the Mexican shrimp cocktail warm, and I just fell in love with it. And then they have different ways to have octopus. Oh, yeah, in the shrimp cocktail, you can either have fish, octopus, or shrimp. And fish ceviche. Ceviche is amazing. Here's what real tacos and stuff look like. Look at those peppers. See, soft tacos. You can ask for a crunchy taco, and I did have a kind of crunchy taco, but I prefer soft tacos. And then they had some really nice other things. And then like regular food, they had a ton of regular food that you could get. Like you could get a nice burger for $3. Oop. And a super nice ham and cheese sandwich. And you just don't see that very much. People just don't do a nice fucking grilled ham and cheese sandwich at the restaurant if you just wanted to fucking have a ham and cheese sandwich. And sometimes people just go too far. Sometimes I just want something simple, you know. But they have nice sandwiches. You can get stuff a la carte, right? Sopa is a sandwich. It's chili relleno. This is this one here. This is a chili that's stuffed with cream cheese, and then they put like an egg batter around it and cook it, fry it, and then put this delicious sauce over it. And the chili inside loses its hotness, though it isn't very hot in the first place, and it tastes just amazing. It's like a delicious chili omelet, and chili and cheese omelet. It's very good. And then, of course, they got the churros, which we love, and flan. We love flan. We love churros. I thought the house salad looked pretty good, too. You know, it was chunky. You know, it was healthy. Hey, get out of here, you little monster. He's biting me. Little creep. Okay, let's take a look at some of their, just for fun, so you could get a look at some of their plates. So this is like the chili Colorado, chili verde. Usually this would come with the tortillas, corn or flour, and then you could roll up the tortilla and dip it in there and slather it around. You make a little taco out of it, whatever you want. Mixed fajitas, wet burritos, which means they have a sauce over the burrito. Burritos had pretty good prices. Breakfast burritos. Everybody loves breakfast burritos. And then we saw some things we didn't know what they were. So we're going to have to go back and find out what they were. Because they sounded really good. Oh, yes. And then look at all the sodas. And I love that they show pictures of the Mexican sodas. So see these things down at the bottom, Juaritas? Those are so good. And this thing, I had one of these last night. That's a sangria soda. They are unbelievably good. And then you can get the regular stuff. But I usually go for the Mexican. And see, in Mexico, you can get Coke in a bottle. So we always try to get the Mexican Coke. Because all sodas should have never left bottles. Going to cans, I don't even understand. It was supposed to help save the environment. Did it? Or did it just turn into a way for people to kind of bank aluminum like it was a currency? It's bizarre. Okay, so I guess I'll get off of this, but oh, even the soft taco. I love how they have like these nice, big, huge green onions for you to just munch on. You're not going to kiss a girlfriend after that, but doesn't that look delicious? Those nice peppers right there. That's real Mexican food. We are so happy that we get to eat that stuff, but not too much. All right, you can have it. Guy, I'll put it on the floor. Go, attack, kill. It's like, give me the paper. I want to chew upon it. Look at him. I was not shooting you. He just wants to chew that paper so bad. He's like, I'm going to chew that paper. I'm so about that paper right now. Scoot over. I'm so about that paper. No, that paper's not getting away from me. Look how dirty my floor is. Now the floor is like a barn floor. It's like, I'm going to eat that paper. Chew on that paper. It looks so delicious. As soon as I brought it in the house, he wanted it so bad. It's the shiny packaging. He thinks it's like sodas, or not sodas, but chips or something like that. So he goes after it. And now if you set your Coke, like near the edge on the table, he will come over and start pushing it with his little head, trying to push it off the table. He's getting to be a little bossy man. You're getting to be a bossy little man. Okay, now I should do something. Okay, so what I was going to do was dive into some analysis from what happened from yesterday, and that was what the Supreme Court did, which was basically to knock down the challenge to Colorado's legalization, states' rights, right? It was a challenge to states' rights. And of course, they couldn't move forward on the merits of the case because that's kind of stupid, really. Because they're really what the courts usually used it in this particular case. When you go to the Supreme Court and their two states have problems, it's either usually, I guess, over water rights from some river or where the border is or something like that, you know. Uh, and you have to prove egregious harm, not just, hey, we're super annoyed because some of the people are sneaking over here with weed and we just don't happen to allow it. Sounds like your problem, pal. You know, if you want to be stupid enough to continue your poor policy and pay money out the nose, that's your problem. If you're the town that bans dancing, you're the one that's a fool. I can't help that. You know, stupid as stupid does. Isn't that Forrest Gump? So, of course, now they've come back with, we'll continue to fight. We're going to regroup. You ain't going to do shit, pal. You ain't going to do shit. And you sure as shit ain't going to do nothing in time. And there were other states that were thinking about entering into lawsuits, and they just got slapped in the fucking face. Like this. Bah! You know? No. Cheers. That was such. I had 2 of those tacos. They were so good. Usually we eat at this place on the avenue, Johnny's, which I also adore. You know, get off subject for a little virtual toke right there for you. Let's get some smoke in there so it has a little more virtualiness to it. This weed was gifted to me from my brothers to help me out because I didn't have anything for my show today. So I would say, toasted gentlemen, that my brothers have met your challenge. Because they gifted me weed. And I've gifted other people weed, so I've met that challenge. Being active and caring about cannabis. Check out Toasted Gentleman's really cool video about that. That he has a great stoner challenge, and that is to do something to show you care about cannabis. Either write a legislator or do something. Maybe even write like some sort of an internet, you know, thing, like a vlog, you know. Write a couple of blurbs, like in a couple of paragraphs, and throw some pictures in there to prove your point of something. You know, there's plenty of stuff out there you can kind of borrow. And you could do it on Tumblr or something like that. It would. Lots of people do a lot of things that are very creative on Tumblr. Tumblr, I get a lot of great ideas from Tumblr. So you don't just have to write your senator. You could do other things that could really help. Come up with a slogan. You know, come up with a cool drawing. Like, I was thinking Freddie Pritchard really needs a coloring book. I need a coloring book of images where Freddie's sitting on his couch, maybe taking his socks off. You know, like, I was like, how could you get that? You would have to, like, take an image of him, put it up on the window, hang a piece of paper over it, and sit there line drawing out. And I was like, you know, I'm this close to volunteering for that. But, you know, it may not be to everybody's snuff and everything. You want like a real artist to do that, you know. But if you had a light box, some kind of a light box, you could just set an image of Freddie Pritchard over, you know, like a piece of glass, and then put a white piece of paper over it and trace out the image, and then just run that off or put it on the internet, and then you could have like a printable Weed King coloring book. Since apparently the coloring books are not just for stoners and my mom. These adult coloring books are so big now. I saw that another guy I follow called cutlery lover who's a conservative dude and is into all this, knife collecting and stuff, and silver and gold and all stuff. But anyway, he was pointing out that he's kind of been getting into these tops, which I think tops are fucking cool because tops are about geometry and math. Anybody that doesn't get a top has got a very low education. I'm sorry to say this, but you just have not seen what people could do with tops, all right? Go look up one of those gyroscopes and watch some kid show you it balancing on a pin and all kinds of, they can get it to dance on a string and stuff. There's a lot more going on with those tops than meets the eye, and a simple man would look at that and go, that's a toy. Did you know that this is how electricity is generated, dipwad? Put one of these spinning things inside of copper coils and you've got fucking electricity, bud. Like if it was a magnet. So some people just don't get that at all. And I see that. And he was defending himself, right? Talking about his interest in these really nice, beautiful little tops. And I noticed another guy was doing one on a homemade lathe. That video went viral not too long ago on YouTube, and that was really interesting. But while he was talking about this, he noticed that there was a trend with coloring books. Yes, there's a huge trend. My mom does them like crazy. People do them to relax. So my mom will sit there and do things that look like, I don't know, like some kind of 1960s psychedelic patterns and stuff like that. Just these beautiful geometric patterns and stuff. Almost, I hate to say it, but like Middle Eastern, almost. And she'll just sit there coloring them, the little boxes and stuff. And I have to say, there's a lot of merit in this because my grandfather was also into the paint by numbers. And he was very fucking proud of his paint by numbers. And we all tried not to laugh. But he was actually decent at the paint by numbers. Sometimes he would accidentally dirty the colors, which means that you mix, I don't know how to describe it because I haven't been in school a long time, but if you mix like red with blue, it's going to make one color. But if you mix it with something else, it's going to start making brown and gray and shit like that. Well, sometimes the paint he was getting to do these with, and his skill level did not allow him always to mix paints in a way that did not come up with that muddying effect that's very difficult for first-time painters to avoid. So really, I think if my grandfather had been alive today, he probably could have become some kind of really cool artist or something. It's just at the time, paint by numbers. So right now, everybody's doing coloring books. Something's happening. I don't know what it's for, but it's obviously cool. And I think we should have some stoner coloring books because I could totally see me coloring Cheech and Chong or Bongs, fucking Dabrig. You get some nice pencils too. You'd be like, oh no, we're not going to just get the old Crayola crayons from the dollar store, the old waxy crappy ones. We're going to go get some nice fucking pastel pencils or, now I'm going to go look at some charcoal. Maybe some what they used to call those the oil pencils we used to use, the oil chalk. I don't know what the hell they used to call it, but we used to use those in school. So I think that pastels, yeah, they were like an oily kind of a long rectangular thing you draw with and you could smudge it. I don't know what the hell it was called. It's been a long time since I was in school. So coloring books, stoner coloring books, I think are a perfectly relevant idea, and they go right along with many trends that are going on right now. Cheers. All right, let's get back to what I was doing. Okay, the Supreme Court made a bold statement on marijuana. This is from www.attn.com. The Supreme Court made a bold statement. Legalization advocates rejoice on Monday after the U.S. Supreme Court dismissed a case that could have changed Colorado's marijuana laws and threatened states' level legalization measures all over the country. Really? No. I'm sorry. They like to do that, like, ooh, we were really in threat. No, we fucking were never really in threat. You know what we were in threat of? A protracted battle in the fucking stupid Supreme Court. And maybe with Scalia, Scalia, yeah. I think there was a movie where like Vincent Price smothered a couple of kids. I just think of Vincent Price, those eyes, the pillow over Scalia. What the hell? I know he was old and stuff, but the guy goes on this vacation and whoop, he's dead. Surprise! Okay. But anyway, there was a chance that he would have probably, he likes states' rights. So there's a chance he could have gone either way, but he would have probably, if he saw a chance to shoot down marijuana legalization, would have done that. Because I think he's far more for law enforcement. There's some kind of scene on the side of the screen over here. I'm laughing so hard at. It's like a cartoon of a guy having sex with a girl, except it's like some kind of diagram drawing, and it looks like he's shooting BBs into her womb. It's so funny. I'm just so distracted by it. And I don't know, is this like a real human or is this a doll? What is this he's doing? Okay, the headline is, "This Not Safe for Work children's book reveals everything that's wrong with sex ed in the U.S." I can only see a tiny sliver of this image, and I can tell you there's a lot of things wrong with it. Right now. Number one, she's on the bottom. No. That was the missionaries' idea. I mean, fuck them, really. Made all the Indians fucking switch positions. Okay, the missionary position. They don't call it that. They don't call it the Navajo position. The Algonquin position. You know, it is the missionary position for a reason. The most boring of all positions. Okay. In an effort to elect a federal response to this interstate dispute, Nebraska and Oklahoma versus Colorado, Nebraska and Oklahoma filed the complaint directly to the Supreme Court, which is granted original jurisdiction in matters of state conflict under the Constitution, but the highest court in the land decided against taking the case in a move that is being celebrated by marijuana advocates and enthusiasts. Here's what Nebraska and Oklahoma argued. The state of Colorado authorities oversees, protects, and profits from a sprawling $100 million per month marijuana growing, processing, and retail organization that exports thousands of pounds of marijuana to some 36 states in 2014. The plaintiffs, Nebraska and Oklahoma, which both prohibit marijuana, told the court if this entity were based south of the border, if they were Mexican, the federal government would prosecute it as a drug cartel. Isn't it interesting that you are making the point that we are making? When it's us, you don't feel like prosecuting people because it's, it's commerce when we're doing it. When a foreign body's doing it to us, it's some kind of an invasion, unlike poor people coming over here. That's not an invasion. That's bullshit. That's sad. It's us sucking them over with low-paying jobs. That's not right. Let's help fix their country. Nobody ever comes up with this idea. You ever notice that? It's always, let's build a wall. Let's cut off our nose to spite our face. What if we just help Mexico become a better place to fucking live? And then everyone from Canada to the tip of Cape Horn, whatever the fuck is called down there, could live happily ever the fuck after instead of this bullshit we go through now. But you notice that no one ever says, you know what we should do? Help fix Mexico. You know what would help do that? End the drug war. You don't have to like help fix it by emplacing a government. Just stop doing the dumb shit that's ripping their country apart. In declining to hear the case, the Supreme Court has left this matter to the states. Advocates are celebrating the decision as a victory for the legalization movement. And yes, it's a very big victory, because now when somebody says, well, marijuana is illegal at a federal level, you can go, well, you know what? The Supreme Court says, fuck you. So what? You know the Supreme Court, you know them? Yes, that august body. They told you to kiss this. At the end of the day, it's official in Nebraska and Oklahoma are upset. If officials in Nebraska and Oklahoma are upset about how much time and resources their police are spending on marijuana cases, as they said in their briefs, they should join Colorado in replacing prohibition with legalization. Marijuana Majority Chairman Tom Engel said in a statement emailed to ATTN. That will allow their criminal justice system to focus on real crime, and it will generate revenue that can be used to pay for healthcare, education, and police safety programs, or public safety programs, although it would definitely help police safety, even though they don't think so. They like drug cartels. I don't know. What do you do with this, you know? Please enjoy. Oh, there you are. So it comes out like London fog, like I Dream of Jeannie. All right. While marijuana is, let's see, how the federal government has handled marijuana legalization. While marijuana is still prohibited under federal law, the Obama administration has approached state-level legalization efforts with passive support, and the Justice Department even urged the courts to not hear the case. USA Today reports 23 states in the District of Columbia have legalized marijuana for medical and or recreational purposes. Now, if the Supreme Court had decided to hear the case, it could have played out in two ways. Now, there's always more than two choices to any situation. Okay, so you can flee, you can fight, or you can die. There's always more than two choices, and hopefully more than three. But there's always more than two choices. So whenever somebody says this, go, there could have been a third possibility, but these are probably the most likely. Okay. The justices could have ruled in favor of the plaintiff states and effectively unraveled the marijuana legalization movement. Or they could have supported Colorado and, in turn, set a precedent that bolsters the legal status of states that choose to legalize. In other words, if they had gone through with the case and found in favor of Colorado, this would have become the complete opposite of what the plaintiffs would have been trying to do. In other words, it would have utterly smashed the idea of prohibition itself. This was a meritless lawsuit, and the courts made the right decision, Mason Tebert, the spokesman for the Marijuana Policy Project, said in an email statement to ATTN. States have every right to regulate and cultivate the sale of marijuana, just as Nebraska and Oklahoma have the right to maintain their failed prohibition policies. After all, they were trying to export that to Colorado, weren't they, when they sued them? So then they had a vote. Share your opinion. Do you think that the Supreme Court made the right decision? And of course, 98% say yes and 2% say no. Let's see if it's still that way. Yes. Now, is that 98% of 3 people that voted, or are there thousands of people voting? I don't know. Who knows? Everything like this, these polls are highly unscientific. Everything needs to be just taken with a grain of salt. Okay, so now, of course, they're complaining that this is no big deal and it doesn't mean anything, and yet they're going to regroup, and they're very concerned that the Supreme Court has sent out this message, okay, and they're not happy about it. So the Washington Post. What today's Supreme Court decision means for the future of legal weed. The Supreme Court's decision today to toss out a lawsuit that could have brought Colorado's marijuana boom to a screeching halt hasn't deterred opponents of the national legalization effort. Already, the plaintiffs and their supporters are looking to regroup. The court's decision does not bar additional challenges to Colorado's scheme in federal district courts, said Nebraska Attorney General Doug Peterson in a statement. No, it doesn't bar you from making an ass of yourself too. Please go right ahead if you would like to publicly humiliate yourself. Because you're going to get bounced at the door by the bouncer just the same as everybody else. What do you think? You got a different argument? What might that be? I'd be fascinated to hear. Oklahoma and Nebraska asked the Supreme Court to hear a challenge to Colorado's marijuana legalization framework, saying that the state's legalization regime was causing marijuana to flow across the borders into their own states, creating law enforcement headaches. But by a 6-2 majority, the Supreme Court declined to hear the case without comment. In a statement, Peterson's office said it would work with Oklahoma and other states to determine the best next step towards vindicating the rule of law. Other opponents are remaining optimistic as well. It's obviously a disappointment, said Kevin Sabat of Smart Approach to Marijuana in an email. But we think legalization will be defeated on its own policy merits, he added. Really? Really? Kevin's just such the Baghdad Bob. Remember Baghdad Bob when we were fighting, Gaddafi over there? And he had some guy coming out going, it's fine. He's fine. He's in his house. He's relaxing. He's having a sandwich right now. He's fine. Don't worry. He's fine. Everything's those lying pigs in America. That's Kevin Sabat. That's Kevin Sabat. He's going to say it even when he's fucking chest deep in the quicksand. He's going to say everything's just fine. He's over here. He's in love. He's in love. You guys see this? He's in love with it now. Now he's singing to it. We always, we don't get what's going on here. I wonder, is this some mating thing? What is this? Why does he sing to the bottles in plastic bags? Tiki Bird. I hate to break up the romance, but can I talk pretty please? Can I talk? Silly bird. Crazy bird. Crazy bird. Making me show my dirty floor. It's antiqued. No, we just ripped up the carpet. Carpet's stupid. I'd rather have the scratchy, yucky old floor. All right, let's see now. In a statement, Peterson's office said it would work with Oklahoma and other states to determine the best next steps towards vindicating the rule of law. Yeah, which is probably not fucking much. They're facing an increasingly steep uphill battle. In the lawsuit, the plaintiffs argued that since marijuana is legal under the Federal Controlled Substance Act, CSA, Controlled Substance Act. It can't be regulated at the state level, but numerous legal experts have pointed out that assumption is incorrect, because if that were true, then other states could impose gun laws on neighboring states. So basically, it was a big fuck you to that idea. Congress has no power to compel states to prohibit the cultivation, possession, and transfer of marijuana, according to Randy Barnett, an attorney who litigated a Supreme Court case exploring the limits of CSA. In the absence of such a state prohibition, all such activities are completely legal under state law, notwithstanding that they are illegal under federal law, he wrote last year. In short, Congress can say that marijuana is illegal at the federal level, but if a state doesn't want to enforce that prohibition itself, it doesn't have to do so. And if it wants to go one step further and set up a market to regulate the trade in the drug, it's free to do so as well. This is the result that most of us were expecting, legal professor Sam Kimmon, who was part of the task force implementing Colorado's marijuana law, said in an email. This never seemed like the right case to test the power of the states to tax and regulate marijuana. Everyone seems to agree that they have the right to legalize marijuana. The U.S. Justice Department filed a brief last December urging the Supreme Court to throw the lawsuit out, with the federal government uninterested in bringing such a suit at the moment. This seems to take things out of the courts and into the political process for the near term, Kamen said. Legalization advocates say that while the decision likely won't have any big practical effects in the near term, it does send a signal to other states mulling their own marijuana policies in the coming years, say the next coming 7 months, because there's a few of them mulling it much sooner than the coming years. See how they start spreading it out and making this like, okay, it's not going to mean anything in the near term, and it's not going to affect the states for many coming years. Bullshit. November is just around the fucking corner, people. Today, right, is the 22nd. It's not going to be too long until we are in April. And when April kicks in, that's when some of the money kicks in to start advertising for spring break and marijuana. And it's going to be probably, even though many have tried to block it, they cannot stop the appetite for it. So someone's going to make a shitload of money. And it just ain't going to be the people who think they can control everything. They're just creating a situation like they have always before, where you're going to make more money. The U.S. Justice Department filed a brief last December urging the Supreme Court to throw out the case because it basically had no merit. Legalization advocates say that while the decision likely won't have any big impacts in the near term, and that it will have impact on states mulling policies in the coming years as though that were far away, the Supreme Court's rejection of the misguided efforts to undo cautious and effective state-level regulation of marijuana is excellent news for the many other states looking to adopt similar reforms in 2016 and beyond, said Tamar Todd, director of the Office of Legal Affairs at the Drug Policy Alliance, in a statement. Observers on both sides of the issue point out that the court's majority did not issue an explanation on their dismissal, which is standard practice in cases like this. The justices may have objected to the lawsuit on its merits, or they may have simply felt that it wasn't proper for them to take up the case at this time, preferring instead to let the state-level legalization experiment play out. Of course, everything may change with a new administration in 2017, law professor Sam Kamen said in an email. But with marijuana on the ballot in another big handful of states this fall, the genie may be out of the bottle by the time the next president is sworn into office. Thought that was a pretty good one. Gavin Newsom. This story came up immediately after the whole thing with the Supreme Court, right? Because and somebody said this. Now watch what's going to happen with the the politicians, because now that one of the highest court in the land, has said to someone challenging states' rights on this and saying that no, federal rights supersedes. Well, the Supreme Court just told you to fuck off. All right? No, they don't, in other words. Sure, you can say that all you want, except for the Supreme Court won't fucking try it. So here's the problem. That can be a law all the fuck it wants to. But if the court won't hear the case, you're done. San Francisco Gate. Gavin Newsom endorses legal marijuana initiative. March 22nd, 2016, 6 a.m. today. Gavin Newsom believes the time to legalize marijuana is now. In an opinion piece published Monday by the Modesto B., California's lieutenant governor, gave his reasons for legalizing marijuana in the state and supporting the Adult Use of Marijuana Act in particular. Increasingly, California understands the war on drugs has been an abject and expensive failure, said Newsom. Perfecting the need, prefacing, I don't know, the need for cannabis law reform. Okay, I don't know what that. It means that it shows we need cannabis law reform. Okay, Newsom then described why marijuana legalization is important to the states by establishing a legal taxed and tightly regulated system. We can offer new protections for our kids, our communities, and our environment, while adopting a best practices framework for responsible adult marijuana use and its impacts. We can also raise much needed revenues to expand drug treatment and prevention programs and protect other public lands from the environmental and water impacts of illegal marijuana grows. The hopeful successor to Governor Jerry Brown then gave his endorsement for AUMA, urging voters to support the initiative for the upcoming November election. Now, recently, I heard a reporter talking to Gavin Newsom, and he was talking about some stupid sheriff somewhere, it's a conservative sheriff, in a conservative place. And he was using this whole thing about, they want to let all the prisoners out, and they want to give everybody high on weed and everything. And he's going to run on this, and this is going to help out his campaign. And Gavin Newsom's like, no, not if you look at the numbers across California. Maybe he could just continue to be a little tin pot tyrant, I guess, but it's not going to really mean anything in the real world. Well, sometimes people are happy with small things. All right. So, the last actual story I'm going to do today is to say rest in peace to former Toronto Mayor Rob Ford, who has now passed on this
Every
morning.
single one of his medical bills, everything is just all taken care of.
Look at this.
So we have phenomenal research, outstanding clinical care, and the generosity of...
We're here talking, and then this rude bitch has to come over here and start fucking doing that. I can't even deal with that. That's so fucking rude. It makes me so angry. I know it's even for a good cause, but I'm not going to look at it because of the way it was done. Because you got to punish that shit. So it just stops. Okay, we don't care about your little let's B-roll about Rob Ford. You really don't have much to say, so go away, CB, whatever the fuck it is. CNN. Shut up, stupid CNN. We'll just read. We don't need CNN's help. Shut up, CNN. Former Toronto Mayor Rob Ford has died, according to his chief of staff, Dan Jacobs. Ford, who had been battling an aggressive form of cancer, served for a decade as a city councilor before being elected mayor in 2010. The 46-year-old Ford gained international notoriety after a video surfaced in May 2013 that apparently showed him using crack cocaine. He was re-elected to the city council in 2014 and was serving in that role at the time of his death. His family had said Monday that he was resting comfortably in palliative care, something. I don't know what that is. At Toronto's Mount Sinai Hospital, adding he was sometimes being sedated to help him deal with the pain. That whether you like Rob Ford or not, cancer is fucked. Okay, and so you have to really feel. You don't wish that on even your worst enemy. Bombastic and blunt. Okay, now they're gonna like stroke his weenie and talk about how cool he was and all this kind of stuff. So I won't go into that because I don't know if he was cool or not. I know that he was a flamboyant character that supposedly was not adverse to using drugs himself, and I don't think he supported legalization in Canada. But he did seem to care quite a bit about his local people who were very supportive of him, and he's passed away, and I thought, since this is tied into drugs and stuff, I might as well share this. Okay, and of course then it's going into his drunken stupors and all this kind of stuff. This has got something to do with cancer? No, it's just cancer. Cancer would strike even the most, perfect of among us. It's cancer, man. You might as well not even go, well, was it because he drank? Perhaps it's because he worked around power lines all the time, or siphoned gas that one time. I mean, you could sit here doing that all day, and you're not going to come up with the right answer, probably. It's cancer. The answer is cancer. It's cancer. Alrighty, now I'm going to put a tiny bit in this bong, and I'm going to tell you about, for my last story, something that I found this morning, and I will link to. So, pan down. There he is. And that is the story in Civilized about William Shatner boldly goes where no talk show host has gone before. So I've been watching this show that William Shatner does because, of course, we all love William Shatner. I'm sorry, it's William Shatner. You're just always going to love William Shatner in whatever sort of guise he appears in, whether it's Captain Kirk or it's a science fiction novel writer or it's a guy that does the show Brown Bag, with I'm not sure the entire name of the show. I just know it's like Brown Bag Wine Tasting or something like this. But it's kind of neat because he has people taste these wines that, and many times people have never tried wine, period. And then he kind of helps them and talks about how it is on their palate and stuff like that, which is something that I think is really cool to have somebody walk you through, because like the first time you try oysters or something, you're going to think that shit is fucking gross. First time you try sushi, you're going to be like, what the nobody eats this, really? Get this shit away. Escargot. I can think of a million things that people wouldn't normally go try on their own, but once somebody walks you through that experience, you go, oh, all right, maybe I'm starting to get what's going on here. And I was a little bit too judgmental at first, So anyway, he's been doing the show, and he has now done an interview, which you can see the entire video. Oh, and here it is. Brown Bag Wine Tasting. I was absolutely right. Anyway, I've seen him interview a lot. He's like the most observant person. I think William Shatner is so amazingly observant, and I like to hear him talk to people and ask them questions and stuff, and sometimes, the other thing was, okay, that he's kind of my dad's age, really. And my parents were huge fans of Star Trek, of course. And so in many ways, watching him talk to this marijuana delivery person, owner, that it was like my dad talking to somebody about that business. That was very cathartic for me in a way, because it's like, here's a conversation I'm never going to get with my dad about weed. Thank you, William Shatner. That's what kind of that would have looked like. He would have called it grass, and we would have all gone, no, Dad. Now it's dabs. No, we could explain to you. My dad's a chemist. Actually, he would get a big kick out of the whole thing. But it's just, he's got all of this. When people were going to school, when he was at Ball State, okay, 2 years before he went there, everyone had a crew cut. Everyone looked exactly the same. They were cookie cutter. Many people were very cookie cutter back then. Oh, very cookie cutter looking. So they all kind of were told that this is bad and that's good, and stay on the right path, and which they all kind of tried to do. And they saw some things that were bad as not being so bad as others, and it's just they happen to see marijuana as very bad. Wine, not so bad. Or smoking or whatever it is, Okay, so let me read some of what is actually in the story here. And of course, there's a great picture of William Shatner, if you're a fan of his, which of course we are. Okay, ever wonder what William Shatner, who turned 85 today, thinks about marijuana? Quote, "Oh, I love marijuana," he said on his Aura TV show Brown Bag Wine Tasting, in which he does blind taste tests with celebrities by sampling bottles wrapped in brown bags. That sounds like fucking fun. I'm sorry, that sounds great, You could do this with weed. That's a great idea. But on one episode, the Star Trek star chatted about marijuana with a dealer named Dominic. Oh, I think this is an old one. Yeah, I did kind of wonder when he was talking about street smarts. It's like, I'm pretty sure that I've heard this interview before. Marijuana is a great thing, Shatner said. Nothing he hadn't smoked it, noting that he hadn't smoked it for years, but thought it was a great herb. So would he try it again if he were visiting a legal state? He said, if I had a couple of days and it was legal, why not? He could even pick up the Star Trek Enterprise strain Romulan. The two also discussed legalization, the marijuana business, and cannabis slang, with Dominic chuckling at Shatner. With Dominic chuckling at Shatner for saying weed and grass like his grandfather. Yeah, it's interesting that there are so many, even my generation, that was like, we were like bud and smokables and, fucking dubage, this kind of stuff. We had all ours in the 80s and everything, and now even that's changed, and there's a whole new language, dabs, and boy, don't I like the dabs. So you definitely have to check this video out on Civilized, where he does this really cool kind of interview with Dominic, and they get to try wine.
I was going to say, yet we had a famous saying back then. Gas, grass.
Or ass, yeah.
Ass.
That's true.
No one rides for free.
That's true. And people still do.
You
know what? You got us on that one. Good call, Curtis. They do still have that bumper sticker that says gas, grass, or ass. So it's not such an old-fashioned saying. Bingo. Well, anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that would be a neat thing. I'm not going to do any of the video because obviously you would be like opening up to getting copyright infringement. Plus, you should go check out a show. The Brown Bag Wine Tasting's pretty neat show. I've been watching it. It's neat. But it's like in myriad with a million other things I'm watching. Jesus. Oh. I mean, I can't even name all the stuff. We're watching Me, You, and the Apocalypse, which looks like it might get canceled. I'm really bummed out about that. And of course, we're watching Agent Carter, and we're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and now we're watching this JFK time travel thing, which is a lot of screaming women. Why always with the screaming women? It's just the horror cliche. How about a guy screaming once and a girl beating his ass? Let's do that for a change. That's right. I'm going to beat your ass for a change. You're going to be screaming. You know, it just the screaming woman trope was getting on my nerves in the living room. But it's a really good show. What is this called? It's like a date or something. But we're watching on Hulu, and it's pretty cool. And then we're also watching Generation X, which is great. That's also, these are all on Hulu, right? Generation X is really super fucking good. The Muppets has been really good. Broad City's really good. Let's see. Oh my goodness. There are so many. We're trying to keep track of it. Of course, we keep up on the nightly show, the daily show. And now I'm trying to keep up on, like, I like this let's see, Join or Die, discussions about history and different things is really cool. I'd like to see more of that. And I like Samantha Bee's new show. So, and there's a bunch of stuff on History Channel now I'm very interested in. I'll link to the really funny one that they just put up about Christopher Columbus and the Indians. That was fucking great. I think that ought to be shown every Thanksgiving to remind us all what true assholes we were when we came over here. Alright, so yeah, you know what? I had to get that one all lined up too, because that one was pretty damn good. It looks like Doug Benson's also got a new show lined up. Yep. They just, History Channel, I guess, just put it up. So, I guess they did it twice. Make it over here and make sure. Why is that not in my... Isn't it interesting when things are not in your history that you know you watched on YouTube? What the heck sometimes? Like, where did stuff go? Yeah, that is... Okay, no, here it is. Is it me? Maybe if we had dates. You know what would be really helpful, stupid fucking YouTube? If you showed me when the fuck I watched these fucking things, and I could go, I know it was 3 days ago. I could look back 3 days instead of, how many videos have I been watching? Okay, so this one, Christopher Columbus, Caribbean Wreck, Crossroads of History, Maker's Studio, right? And it's on Nacho Punch, and it's fucking hilarious. So funny. So you stay high and goodbye. Check that out. And I'll see you tomorrow. Maybe bankrupt. Maybe, I don't know. Hopefully not. And then hopefully we'll have some more news going on that we could talk about and everything. So I'll see you tomorrow, and have a good Tuesday, man. It was cold and windy as shit here. I was cold last night. But it looks like the storm's blown through now. Still some pretty big waves down at the ocean. Like on the beach. If you can see them from here, then they're decent. Then they're gonna be like 4 or 5 feet or something. But if you're just little nothing, then you know that when you're actually down there at the beach, they're only... And what that means is, okay, 4 or 5 feet off the water. Or overhead, if you were standing on the water, the waves overhead, it's as though you were standing on the water and the waves over your head. Not if you were in the water and the wave is... Because if you're standing on the board, it's not going to be so scary. You know, you're more like, oh, this isn't such a bad wave. But if you're swimming, the wave's going to look huge, you know. So if you can see him from up here on the hill, they're going to be pretty decent size. He's fighting over that paper.
No, he's
What? He's
fighting
mad.
my foot.
He's fighting your foot. He's vicious. Look at his viciousness. He's gonna take your foot on. Oh, he's gonna kick your ass, Kurt. He will claw out your eyeballs. He's a dangerous one. This Tiki is a dangerous one. Thank God there isn't a bra or anything on the floor over there. Alright, I'll let you go. That was enough of that. All right. Adios.